Hi, I'm Caleb.
Hi, I'm Darren.
And we are here to talk about
Nature games.
nature games because it is Earth Day today.
Earth Day. So this list is going to be our top 10 nature games that we ourselves have played and we feel have the most nature theme behind them and make us feel the most immersed with nature.
Yes. So what we did is we thought about quality. We thought about the overall artwork, just the general like nature feeling.
Yes. What we feel when we're playing it. So this is totally biased. It's totally what we think. Obviously, not everyone's going to feel this way. For sure. But apart from number one, you should. But don't jump to number one. Before you jump to number one, subscribe right now because leave a like.
Yes.
If you like it so far.
Exactly.
I mean, I think it's pretty good if we're made it this far into the video.
Yes. So down here somewhere is that button.
All right, and let's get into our top 10 nature games.
Yes. But beforehand, we're going to do two honorable mentions. My honorable mention is Spirit Island. Reason being is because you are playing as nature and you are pushing humans away because the humans are destroying. Yes, exactly. They are destroying the natural landscape and harming the natives of the land. And you're playing as these awesome spirits that have asymmetric powers. It's beautiful. It's really cool. Very, very fun game. And that is Spirit Island. So that's our first honorable mention. And you got one.
Tinderblocks.
Yeah.
It's a little dexterity game. Very tiny. You can take it on the go. Throw it in your book bag. Take it camping with you.
Yes.
Comes with little tweezers. You're building a campfire. That's all it is. You're trying to pick it up. The card tells you if you're using your left hand or your right hand.
Yeah.
How many you got to pick up and how many you got to stack. And you're using these little tweezers to do it.
Yeah. It's fun. Like two types of fire. It's like red and yellow, and then wood. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah. It's amazing. And they just released, I think, like a waterproof edition. It's like.
Really?
Yeah, or they've had it out. I don't really know, but but it's
a cute little dexterity game. It's really fun and it's easy to take on the go with you.
Yeah, it's very underrated too, by the way. So
Tinderblock.
All right, so starting off our list at number 10 is a game called Root. So the reason why it is so far down here is because it is not all nature, really. It's more
a war game.
Right. It's very focused on the war and the player powers and the asymmetric abilities through everybody, because everybody plays very, very differently, but you are woodland creatures and you are fighting in a forest. So that's why we kind of picked it. The art is very woodland-esque, very, very gorgeous. I love that art style so much. It's very grungy, rustic looking stuff. It's so unique. But yeah, the game itself is
cottage feel.
Yeah, kind of.
What it gives.
Kind of. Yeah. But yeah, Leader Games puts out great games, and all of their games deal with asymmetric stuff, and it's the same artist as well. So yeah, number 10 is Root for the fact of the nature feel that we somewhat get.
Especially if you're playing with like the vagabond and it's the character.
Yeah, because you're in the woods.
You're going in and out of the woods more often. Yeah. You're not staying in the clearings. So I don't know. It gives that little bit of nature feel that we got to put it on the list.
Yeah. Especially if you kind of like put some music on or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah. All right, that's number 10, Root.
Number 9 is Flourish, which, looking at it, it's a nature game. I mean, you look at the box, you pick it up, you're going to expect it to be nature-themed. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. It is a set collection card game with beautiful art. It's a little competitive game. You're going against each other.
Or cooperative if you want.
Yeah. There's a cooperative mode on it, which we haven't tried yet. No. But from the little competitive game we did, we fell in love with it instantly. I mean, it's a simple game. We learned it very fast, and it's chill, makes us feel like we're one with nature, especially we usually get like a playlist going and listen and it's really nice.
For sure. And it kind of has that like Seven Wonders feel where you're playing a card, passing cards, discarding a few, I think, and then playing like at least one or two or something like that.
Discarding, basically. You're building up your sets. You're trying to get sets.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And then you're just comboing things at the end of the game. And I mean, what I love too about the game is that it has little dials, so you don't have to use your phone for a calculator or anything like that. It's just you just scroll. I mean, you still have to because you can get like 60 points on one and then like 72 on it, and it just goes to like hundreds.
We ended up getting a lot of points.
Yeah. But
our first time, I think you went over like 100 something, or was that me?
I think it was you first, and then I got to 80, but I sucked really
but it's a fun little game, just collecting the cards, seeing the different art for each card is really nice. The pieces, the components to the board game as well are just really nice. So yeah, number 9, Flourish.
Flourish, cool. All right, so number 8 is I think a kind of a hidden gem in a way, and that game is called Bossk. So Bossk is like I said, it's like a hidden gem pretty much, and yeah, it's a very abstract, almost area control kind of game, where like you go through the seasons where you're planting your trees. And then on the next, and then the leaves fall, and then you have to stack on top of each other. And at first you didn't really like it, but then you kind of came around a little bit.
Once I got into it, I understood how it worked a little bit more because it was slightly confusing how the leaves would fall.
Yeah, because I think
they would fall,
exactly
how it would fall on top of other pieces.
Yeah.
But once you got the hang of it, it was a pretty fun game.
Yeah, and
unique.
Exactly, it was very unique because I really enjoy when like you can break up the rounds and make it thematic and like spring, summer, winter, fall, and you do each of those things. I think you're scoring in the winter, you're scoring in summer too. I think, it's a little bit different, but and also it's been a while since we played it. But
as you know, it's very
it's so.
It's
trees.
Brings you into it.
Yeah,
you're literally watching the leaves fall.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then you take your trees away, and you all are different colored trees. It's really cool. But yeah, definitely a hidden gem and one to pick up. And I think it's still in print, but it's not that expensive really. So yeah, it's a great game. Number 8, Bossk.
Number 7 is a game that we just recently got like a couple weeks ago, and it is called Honey Buzz.
Yes.
Cute little worker placement game where you're using your little worker bees, which are the cutest little things. They're little wooden pieces.
Yes, amazing.
To go into your little hive, and you have these different actions or tiles that you can take that you add onto your board. And depending on where you place it, you may be able to trigger this ability to be able to do this action and this action.
Yeah, if you close in a hex.
Yes.
Because they're all hexes.
So your goal is just basically like build up your little hive.
Yeah.
Earn points based on what you're doing.
Yeah, it's just
comboing, trying to pay attention to even the market with some economy in there a little bit.
Because the honey
and stuff. It was a lot more in depth than what I thought it was. When we first looked at it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Because
it's a worker placement game.
Yeah. Well, like all worker placement games can be pretty simple, but like this one surprised us for the complexity because we're like,
it did.
Okay,
a lot more thinking was involved than what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, for sure. Like we each took our time with our turns, and normally, like I used to be like I took forever on my turns. And then, I kind of got better over time. But she's always great with her turns. This is the first game I've ever seen where she's like, okay.
Yeah, I was really...
Because there's so many options. And then you have to think about the next turn.
But at the same time, even though there's so many options, it was not overwhelming.
Oh, sure.
I didn't get overwhelmed. The board was laid out nicely.
Yeah.
I liked where everything was laid out. So it didn't look overwhelming to see all the things that I could do.
Yeah, that's very true.
It didn't... And we used the starter base on what. And even then, I think we could have done without it.
That's very true.
Because it's a pretty simple to learn game, but complex in trying to win.
Yeah, exactly. I think the strategy is deep. The teach is nothing really.
Yeah.
So I agree. But overall, the quality of the game is great.
Us into the nature.
It does.
We're literally raising bees. Basically, that's what it feels like. It's like we're just bee tamers.
Yeah, it's so cute. It's so funny.
It's the having the babies, getting the larvae.
Oh yeah, and you can produce more.
That's how you get more workers. It's very thematic too.
It is kind of. I think so.
And it's very cute. Makes us feel like one with nature. And again, one of those things where it's like you play a good playlist with it, you're going to be even more enthralled into the theme. So.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, but number 7, Honey Buzz.
Honey Buzz, cool. All right, so number 6 is no surprise. It has to be on this list, and that is Everdell. So everybody at this point, sorry, chugging. I don't want to interrupt your chugging because I need a drink too. Everdell.
You know what? I will say that I'm surprised that it's not at least midpoint in our list. You know what I mean?
That's true. I think I don't know.
Let's continue talking about this one.
Okay,
because I got some things we can lead into.
Sure. But Everdell overall is a worker placement tableau building game where you're pretty much going into the world of Everdell placing your little critters to gain resources,
building
to pay for cards.
Village.
Yeah, so it's elegant in so many ways. That is
talk about nature theme. I mean, the board has a giant tree in the middle
exactly.
of it. I mean, it's
exactly.
Yeah, but little woodland creatures.
Yeah, exactly. And like I feel, and I think the reason why it's number 6, and I'm not like discrediting anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying like the reason why I think is because you are woodland creatures, and it's not so much like literal nature. You know, like it's like fantasy almost. So because you know you have a king, you have
and
a queen,
that's something that I would like to clarify too. Is like when we were making this list, we did talk about like what makes us feel attached to real life nature versus just the feeling of like nature in general.
Exactly.
Like, real life to us is going to be more nature themed, which is what you'll kind of notice a little bit more the higher up on our list.
Yes.
But Everdell still gives us that nice. I mean, we're getting to build up a little town, and a little forest. I feel like I'm in the forest.
Yeah,
like,
right.
We're sitting at our table.
Right, that's very true.
I feel like I'm surrounded by all these. I had the market, all that. Like it's like
it's like you can see it. That's very true. That's very true. But yeah, as she said, I think like the other ones with the realism, that's what brings us into it more. Which that's why our number 5 is what it is, but I will end it with that. That is number 6, Everdell, going at 5.
And number 5 is Wingspan, which is very realistic. I mean, we're learning about real birds. Every single card is different.
Yes.
It's an engine building game. Like
everybody's heard of this game.
Everyone's heard of it. I mean, we luckily just got Wormspan, and we can't wait to play it.
Oh yeah. It's
but talking about nature, birds.
Yeah. And on the cards,
it tells you. It gives you little information. Like like doesn't it give like their wing size?
Yeah. The wingspan. It gives
the wingspan.
Yes.
It gives little tidbits about them. It's really cool. It's you're learning while playing the game.
Yeah.
You're getting to see birds that you've probably never seen before because I mean the deck's huge, and there's even expansions that give you more birds.
Exactly.
So it's like. It's almost like you're never going to have the same game. Ever.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's always going to be different, no matter how many times you've played it, how many different cards you played. It's always going to be different, and it very, very much so immerses us. It makes me feel like I'm running my little bird.
Yeah, it's just
what's it called? Aviary, bird aviary, something like that. The bird sanctuary.
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an aviary.
Yeah, I feel like I'm running it, and I feel like I'm learning, and I am. I mean,
yeah, because I mean, you're just putting them to the right spots. Like you know, certain birds need to go into the forest. Yeah, exactly. It's like ducks are going to go in the pond, you know, or
the wetlands.
In the wetlands. Yeah. So yeah, it's just it feels so good seeing the fact that every card has the wingspan, has a little bit of like like info on it, and then when you trigger the row of birds, it feels so wonderful.
Yeah, and then just to see everything happen, and everything makes sense.
Even
for it to happen again,
that's very true.
That can happen again. It's an immersive game. It makes me feel immersed with nature.
Yeah, I think
of the bird themed. I mean,
and the music that we put on the background because the soundtrack for the game.
Soundtrack. Yes. Soundtrack is always a big thing too, especially when you're playing board games. It also helps enhance.
The whole immersion.
The whole
process,
immersion.
Yeah.
But number 5 was Wingspan.
Yes, awesome. All right, so number 4, this might be a little controversial because it's like, how can this be higher? But that is Arboretum. So here's why I think it belongs so much higher, because we kind of curated the list and we messed with it a little bit. So here's one big reason. First of all, the game is it's a simple card game. That's all that's in there is cards and then like a score sheet. That's
almost feels like you're doing the tile placement.
Yeah. But like what it is that it's just a card game where like there's certain types of trees and then they all have different types of numbers. So what you're doing is you're placing these cards down and trying to make a path. But like along that path, they have to be either ascending or descending. It just depends.
Starting with the same, ending with the same.
Yeah, exactly. So like
you can make multiple paths off of one, and it's really cool. And
right, but but the trick is that if somebody has like the highest suit, the highest number, like in their hand, they can say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you don't get to score that." Done. It's very mean. It's a very, very mean game, but like I think it's so elegant in the sense of it's just trees and it's just cards. So you can almost play this like...
And the artwork is very pretty.
Yes.
It's simple.
Oh, of course. It's so simple. But like I think that you could play this outside. You can do a picnic and play this game or on a picnic table. I mean, on a plane, like wherever you're going, it's just cards. Like it's so wonderful. And just the overall design, we're just like super hardcore fans of this game. And we want to play it the one time. We want to play it again, like right now.
Yeah.
Because we just played it like not too long ago, but we're like, this has to be here just because of like, hey, you want to play a card game? Yeah. We're outside. Like, I don't know. We're camping. It doesn't matter. Like,
it is one of those games that it just feels like you take on the go.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, because like you don't need a big table. You can kind of squish the cards together in a way that like it doesn't matter as long as you keep track of it. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game. That is Arboretum, and it is wonderful. So,
yeah, and that was
number. What number was that? Number 4, Arboretum.
Number 4, Arboretum. Number 3 is one that we fell in love with literally the first time we played it, and 100%. It is called Cascadia. Yes. It is a tile placement game. The game is like, you can earn points in multiple different ways, which is really cool, because the tiles all have like different terrains, different animal pieces that go on it. You get this nice little bag to be able to pull tiles out.
Yeah.
Like the
tokens.
The
animal tokens.
Animal tokens, I guess you would call it. I usually would call them tiles, but since there are tiles, it's
really
a little complicated.
Yeah, token tiles.
Token tiles. Yeah. There's little cardboard tiles, which are the things that you're going to be placing, and then you get to choose an animal, and then you get to place that on your board as well.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind of like what is available for scoring and how they score.
At the beginning of the game, you basically choose what you're going to be scoring points for and what you're going to try to be scoring.
Because there's 5 different types of animals. I think you have the elk, bear, salmon, eagle, fox.
Yeah.
So
and
is that 6?
Something like that. Yeah. And they all have like different like ways that they score, and you got to be careful because one might say, "Oh, the bears can't be touching more than like 3."
Yeah, or
if they're touching 4 and you're still trying to score the other 3, you can't because they're touching. They're no longer.
Yeah.
So it's really. It's a fun little game.
Yeah.
I mean, the tiles are really pretty. You can score by having the landscapes and the terrain match up, which you don't even have to do.
You don't have to, but it gets you extra points.
It gets you extra points, and it's really cool even seeing it as you're building out your tiles. Like
yeah, and I think the reason why it's number 3 is because it's so accessible, and it's very like, hey, if you never heard of a game like this before, this is that. Like it's so unique. It's Carcassonne was kind of like one of the first games that kind of did like a lot of tile placement stuff like that. But this really takes that and
the reason why it's up for our nature is because like it's kind of along the whole realistic nature side.
Yes,
we're building up
real
animals. Terrain, where it makes sense why the animals are going to be batched together the way that they are. It makes sense to like. Yeah. It's very.
Well, it's
realistic based on how the animals would really react and do in real life.
So exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's based in a real place on Earth. So that is, I guess, like what part or north of California and like Alaska, So pretty much in that region of America. It's so gorgeous.
It's a very pretty game, and the pieces are so nice too. It's
simplistic. It's simplistically gorgeous.
You got tokens.
Tiles and then little cards.
That's it.
But then you have you have to cheat to add your stuff up.
Yeah, but that's like at the end. That's at the end. But like during the gameplay, that's all you got.
Yeah.
You're not keeping up with a bunch of stuff. You're focusing more on what you're doing in your own little area. Like, they're going off doing their own thing, but you got your own little place going. So
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful and it's really fun, and I definitely think it deserves to be in our number 3 spot.
Yes, agreed.
So number 3, Cascadia.
Cool. All right, so number 2 is a new to us game that it's only been out for like maybe 3 or 4 years.
Fell in love with it immediately.
Oh my gosh. This is the epitome of what I want every set collection game to be like. Enjoyable. But we don't really like set collection that much. That is Cascade. That is Meadow. Number 2 is Meadow. So it's not that we don't like set collection really. It's just like we've never like thought of it and said, "Oh yeah, I like that game." But this one, I don't know what it does. It's the adding on top of the cards. Like, okay, so pretty much in this game is you are building out. It's not exactly tableau building, but like in some ways it feels like it is. But you're just it's a set collection game, but you are putting cards down, like houses, trees, ants. But then after you put an ant down, you need to get a frog because, frogs eat insects. And then after the frog, it's kind of like,
everything
it's like
makes
a food
sense.
chain. Exactly. Yeah.
And
it ascends and it keeps going higher.
Yes.
It's so cool. But you need a fence beside your house and then beside the house. Yeah, it just works out very, very well. And aesthetically, we've never seen where from top to bottom, the entire game is just like, apart from Everdell, it's just beautiful.
It is very, the art, when I first looked at the game, I didn't expect this to how it plays. Yeah. Like, I was not expecting it to play the way it did.
Yeah.
It didn't look like my type of game. Mm-hmm. It is definitely my type of game.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to play it again.
Yeah, again.
Very nature themed. I mean, it's heavy with the nature theme. And it's really cool because every card, you can kind of go into the book, right? And it'll tell you about...
Yeah, it tells you about every single card and the
illustration that's on it.
It's so crazy.
And it's like... It's art. It's not like photos.
Yeah, and then I really like how after you draw a card, you reset the east or the south depending on and then you go to north like halfway through the game, and
it's very unique.
Yeah,
the way
it is
works,
very
the
different.
The mechanics of it is very
Set collection has been around for ever, but it's just
the way it works, the way you get your cards, the way this person's trying to get this card that's up at the top left. Yeah. But this part's already blocked and the bottom part's already blocked. The only other way is to go that way, but you don't have the right number to be able to go and grab it.
Exactly,
so
because you have to put their little arrows and
they each have different numbers, how many spaces you can move. Mm-hmm. You're thinking a lot.
Yeah,
it's a
lot
more
bit,
thinky than you would.
Yeah, but it's just so relaxing. It's like she didn't even care that she lost. She was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot that I won for a second. Yeah. I was like, wait, okay.
He was like, I'm not gonna win. I'm like,
yeah. No. It's enjoyable. It's satisfying. It's beautiful. And I've heard the expansion. I cannot wait to play Downstream. I've heard that it's really good at 2 players. It kind of gets a little longer, but at the same time, if everybody's down to play a long, set collection game, then by all means go for it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, Downstream apparently adds a little bit more complexity. And even in the base game, there's little mini expansions, and it says for you to open it on certain days of the year. There's a Christmas, open it before Christmas. Remember? Yeah. And I think one's for first day of summer or something like that. So yeah, wonderful game. That is number 2, Meadow.
And our number 1, I am definitely not surprised that it's at our number 1 list.
I think we knew when we made this list.
I think so too. Whenever we were going through trying to pick which ones we would play, and that is Parks.
Yes.
It's a perfect game.
Yeah.
It's literally the national parks you're getting to go through and hike through, and you're learning while going through, getting little information. The artwork's beautiful. The cards are beautiful.
Keymaster games. Thank you.
Their storage. It's cool. Fun pulling out. It's fun putting back up.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm hiking.
Mm-hmm.
You're hiking. That's what you're doing. You're collecting resources to be able to earn cards, to earn points at the end, but you're visiting these places. So you kind of want to pick really where you want to go because they're actually all pretty and they're all different and it's all worth different points. And it's just... It's a relaxing game.
Yeah, it is.
Even though you're going head to head and you're all going on this trail together, you're very much so relaxed. You're hiking. You're taking your time. You're okay, I'm working on this. I don't care what everyone else is doing. I'm gonna get what I need to do.
Yeah, and I kind of want to be a little bit sentimental here, just for the fact of okay, so my grandfather, he was really, really into nature and the national parks. He had a big thing for him. So each time that I pull out this game, I just think of my grandfather pretty much. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, but it's not just that. A lot of the national parks, a lot of people can relate to because you probably live near one or by one or something. So yeah, you have so much going on. And for a family weight game, I'll say family plus because it's a little crunchy, but just enough to where anybody can kind of get into it. It's you put your hiker, place it, do that action. Maybe there's a bonus action, or you could use your canteen canteen isn't trails. Your little fire pit or whatever. But yeah, no, it's just so cool getting all the gear cards. Just taking photographs and looking at the little picture on there. It's
just getting the little resources too. Even though they're really tiny, they just the pieces in general look really good.
Yeah.
And again, back to the whole nature theme of it, which is why it's our number 1. It the immersion that we get with it.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't have a good playlist, which we do have a good playlist, if we didn't have one, I still truly feel like we'd still be immersed because the way the art style is, the way the game flows, the way the turns work. I think it's just very
I mean, it just makes sense.
It makes sense.
It's a game about national parks, so it just makes sense.
You're hiking through them. You're getting your pictures of them.
Yeah, it's so fun.
You're basically being like, "Hey, I visited here.
Yeah,
here's my proof."
Yeah, exactly. It's so cool.
It's really nice. You get to be like, "Oh, well, at the end of the game, well, you guys visited there. Well, that's cool, but I visited these places." So it's like,
it's like even though you want to add your points, you're just like, oh yeah, it's cool to see what everybody did, and I mean, it kind of somewhat tells a story, but again, the game's great. The expansions are like a lot of people say that some expansions are unnecessary. This makes sense. Each of these expansions add a little bit more onto it. Like Nightfall, it does things with tents where you can go into extra places, especially at a higher player count. It just feels much better. And just adding
the extra cards too, getting the extra cards of the locations are always really nice too. And again, back to the end is how pretty the art is.
Yeah.
Like every photo of each national park is very unique.
Yeah, well, I think it's different artists too.
It's different art styles too. Like some have similar artists, some have like a different one.
I don't know. I think there's like 30 some artists in the game, but we're so amazed by it every time that we pull it out. Every time that we just think about it. I mean, looking at the box itself,
it literally is displayed gorgeous. In our living room. Like it's one of our boxes that we have displayed out because we just love it that much.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that has to be number one because
number one
can't get any more natural than national parks.
Yep, parks.
Cool.
Number one. I
loved it. Awesome. Cool, guys. Thanks you. I can't talk.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. Yeah.
Thank you for watching our top 10 Earth nature themed games that we like, that we have played. I'm sure there are other ones out there, and if you would like to share them with us, please comment down below because we love nature themed games. We just love nature in general and board games. So if you can mash the two together for us.
Yes, because I mean, I'm sure there's some games that we haven't heard of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's tons we haven't heard of.
Oh yeah, sure.
So tell us your favorite nature games.
Yes, please do. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Like, subscribe, share with your friends.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
Bye.